on, everybody? Happy Easter weekend. I am coming to you live from my daughter's hospital room. Scotty and I have been here for the last 2 nights with her. She's doing a lot better, but that's why I look so tired. And I wanted to be creating so much content this week and this weekend because, Easter is like the Christian Super Bowl, it's our biggest event. It's the most important part of our faith. In fact, Paul says, without the resurrection, we are to be the most pitied people ever because our faith is completely useless without the resurrection of Christ. It means nothing if he stays in the tomb. And so there's so much to remember, commemorate, to celebrate this weekend, but it's kind of been tough with the baby being sick the last couple of days to think about that. And I've been wanting to come on here and share with you guys this thought that I had, so I'll share it today. A few nights ago, I was putting her down to sleep, and I'm rocking her to sleep, and I started praying over her, and I asked God to give her an obedient heart, to give her a teachable heart, and I was praying, Lord, I said, Lord, allow her to be obedient so that she doesn't suffer a lot, so that she doesn't suffer. And then I changed the prayer and said suffer a lot, because everyone suffers. If you know anything about Buddhism, they have 4 noble truths, and the first one is that suffering is just an inevitable part of the human condition. We all suffer. That's like their first truth. That's where the Buddhists start. And the Bible actually, agrees with that sentiment. Even Jesus said, in this world, in this life, you will have trouble. That's a promise. You will have trouble. So what's the point of being a Christian then? If following Jesus doesn't exempt us from suffering, why follow him? See, the thing that makes Christianity different, the thing that makes following Jesus different, is that Jesus redeems our suffering. He uses it for our good. If it's inevitable and pointless, well, that's just terrible. But what he does is he knows it's something that we must go through, we have to go through, it's just part of life. But he takes it and says, how can I make this something that works out for their good? So when we follow Christ, Christ allows the suffering that we endure to actually build our faith if we allow him to walk with us through our suffering. He allows our suffering to build our faith, our perseverance, our character. And the other thing about following Christ is that he actually is with us. He doesn't abandon us when we are suffering. He is here with us. He says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So that's the other thing. He walks through it with us. He doesn't just look from a distance and go, well, I hope that works out for you, and figure it out and all that. But he's intimately acquainted with what it means to suffer, what it means to be human. He knows what that's like firsthand. In fact, that's really a big part of the Easter story, right? It's the passion of Christ and all the things that he endured. And I love this verse that in Hebrews that says, for the joy that was set before him, Christ endured all of this suffering for you and me. So whatever you're going through in this season, I hope that the Easter story, that Jesus' suffering, his death, his resurrection brings you hope, brings you joy. Just know that there's nothing that you are going through that God cannot work for your good, that God cannot redeem and use to build you up, to strengthen you, to encourage you, to give you hope. And so I am filled with hope because the tomb is empty, y'all. On this Sabbath, we reflect on the fact that he did die, that he did conquer death. He tasted death, eternal death for you and I, so we wouldn't have to. But the morning is coming, y'all. Sunday morning is coming. So be encouraged.